I'm back. How you guys doing? My name is, again, Joshua Nikolajewski. I am the co-host of this podcast. Everybody can introduce themselves real quick. I am also the better brother of the two, which you can introduce.
My name is Alex. I'm also here a student at Penn State Abington, freshman currently, and as you mentioned, I'm his brother.
I'm Stu, I'm 20, I have a car detailing business of my own, and doing the podcast with the boys.
I'm Mike, I'm 19 years old. I'm a co-host with these guys, and I also have my own YouTube channel that I do.
All right, well, I was thinking, Mike, why don't you get started from the beginning?
Okay. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. What? What do you mean?
Oh,
not that beginning, I'm sorry.
All right, excuse me. All right. Let me start by asking you guys, what is the first thing you need to make $1 million? And you guys can just shout some things out. Anything.
There's no wrong answer, guys.
I heard time, I heard consistency, yeah, all of that. Well, we were fortunate. Expertise.
Motivation.
Too. Yeah, but there's no wrong answers. Well, fortunately, we were able to have multimillionaire and CEO and founder of Luxury Bazaar, Roman Sharf, on our podcast a couple months ago. And we asked him for one piece of advice, and he responded with a question, which is the same one that I just asked you. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to play the short little clip of what he answered.
Penn State, what's the first thing you need to have $1 million?
Oh, you did. I actually answered. You told me I'm wrong.
Yeah. So the question for my next, yeah, there you go. Right, the answer.
I got it.
What is the first thing you need to have $1 million?
I said it, but my answer was
You might have to come up with the
time, this, that, and
I'm just gonna beep it.
What
I'm just gonna beep it.
what is the first thing you need in order to have $1 million? The first thing you need.
First thing you need.
Why do you say that there's...
I wanna think it's...
Yeah, there's actually a lot.
But my answer is extremely simple, and it actually has meaning behind it. The answer to that question is you need to have $1. What a lot of people tend to lose sight of is when it comes to being an entrepreneur, when it comes to being a businessman, when it comes to doing that, the value of the dollar is tremendous because money makes money in any business scenario, right? Especially if you go into a business scenario such as mine.
So the premise of what he's just answered is that you need to spend money to make money. But the choice of how you spend money is entirely up to you, which is why we're here to tell you that this is the proper way to invest in yourself and spend your money correctly.
There's no proper way.
There is a proper way.
No.
We're about to give it to you guys.
Everybody's different.
Why you should invest in yourself. You are your biggest asset, and life's too short to just, you have to take the risk, you have to take that leap and see where it takes you. You have to have faith in yourself. Because if you don't have faith in yourself, nobody else will believe in you. Risk-reward ratio, there's always a risk, but the reward's always higher. Bigger the risk, bigger the reward, so it's worth it to take that shot. Regret hurts. I mean, if you don't try something and you don't take that responsibility at the end of the day, it's gonna eat you up, and you're gonna regret not taking that responsibility or that leap of pursuing what you really want.
Denzel Washington has a really famous quote. He was up on a graduation speech of some sort. And for his speech, he mentioned that I want you to imagine that you're on your deathbed and that what comes to surround you is all these different ghosts. And each of these ghosts are ghosts that represent things that you never acted on in your life, whatever that may be, whatever risk that you didn't want to take. And they're here to tell you, they tell you, those same ghosts, they're like, you didn't come to us, you didn't bring us to life, and now we have to go to the grave down with you. And you can search up this clip and everything, but it's beautiful. So you have to ask yourself, how many ghosts are going to be there when it's your time?
I've never heard anybody ever in my life say that they regret working hard. Not one person in my life.
Now, what does it actually take to invest in yourself? We want to prepare you guys for the journey to come. For starters, it's going to take a lot of time, a whole bunch of it. You're going to have to be able to sacrifice that. It's going to take energy, a lot of it. Again, struggle. You will go through this. There are highs and there are lows in every journey, but you have to prepare yourself for that, and you have to be persistent through those lows. Risk, well, the same thing that Sadula mentioned. The risk is always going to be worth it on the other side. You just have to keep fighting for it. And lastly, money, which is what we're going to break down right now.
Oh, present for the future.
Oh, money. Wow.
Yeah, you didn't go over that.
And we're sacrificing the present for the future.
Delay the gratification of what's going to happen now to what is about to come.
So first thing you should absolutely invest in. Like, great physiques, everybody. Obviously, I think so. definitely a favorite of mine. But anyways, physical health isn't just relevant to us, it's relevant to anybody. And what I mean by that is anybody that has ever done any sort of workout. Now, we're all bodybuilders here, or weightlifters, whatever you want to call it. But if you've ever done any sort of exercise, you know how great that feeling is when you accomplish it. Going into there, should I do it? Not another day. No, I'm gonna do it today. And you go through that workout, or you go through that run, or you go through that swim, and it's one of the best feelings in the world. And it's not just a feeling. Your body actually produces something, and it's called endorphins, which is just a neurotransmitter, that same feeling you get when you actually smoke weed, do all those kind of shenanigans, drugs. And then something I want to also cover is a lot of people that I know sacrifice their entire life. I'll worry about my health later. I'm gonna make all the money right now. I don't have time because I gotta work. And then what happens once they hit 50s and 60s? The roles reverse. So now you have all the money in the world. Congratulations. You won now. You have a ventilator, possibly. It's a struggle to walk. You have all these sort of diseases going through your body. Is that really something that you want to pursue in your future? Not me. And then some lessons from each of us that we've gotten through our just working out every single day is, number one, these are life lessons that you get from the gym, and then you realize that it applies to all of life. Meaning, what you put in was what you get out. Every single one of us just constantly show up. We don't want to be there, we show up. We do want to be there, we show up. And we kind of realize that same concept doesn't just apply in the gym. You spend 3 years showing up every single day and doing 2 hours of whatever work you need to do, whatever you have to get done, whatever you pursue, I promise you the results will eventually come. That's something the gym taught us. On top of that, the word of earning results. Oh my God. If you got everything you wanted in life, what's the point of it? Seriously, have you ever considered every single dream of yours just snap like a finger happen? What then? Would you really be happy? I'd argue no. Top of that, happy or angry place. Take out some stress, guys. I know we all got our problems, our personal problems, things that are happening in our lives that we can't control, or we can. You go in there, throw some weights, sprint 50 meters, I'm telling you, it's the best feeling ever. On top of that, things don't happen overnight. Seriously, you're not gonna go in there, a false fallacy that people do believe, especially with these advertisements on Instagram and everything. 30 days, you can lose 30 pounds. Full of crap. Full of freaking crap. And lastly, showing up, which I already mentioned.
So how do we invest into our mental health? It's not so about money, what do we invest in it, because it's completely free. How often do you go out and touch a tree? How often do you go out in the sun? How often do you do breath work and spend time with yourself to know who you are? Because it's not really about all the external things in life, like who are you on the inside? Because a lot of the times, like nowadays, we are so reactive, we don't know how to process our emotions. And what we do is that we cope in unhealthy ways, like go on our phone. We escape into television, we escape into like alcohol or drugs or any type of these things. But what I tell you is that to invest in your mental health, it's completely free. It's by being an actual human being instead of being on your phone like this guy, right? Is this any of you? You don't have to answer that. But it really is that damn phone. Like, put your phone away for maybe an hour or two every single day. And the results will be, it's free. Hold on, my bad. I'm at a blank right now.
The results will be tremendous.
Yes,
And
The results will be tremendous, exactly. And like, how often do you guys actually go out and touch the sun or wrap your like hands around a tree? Anyone? No. So if you want to be like this guy, maybe go out and be a human, go out in the sun, touch some grass, and get off your phone.
Now this one's nutritional health, and we're all adults here. It's no secret why eating healthy is so much better than eating unhealthy, all that processed junk food. But I just want to remind you all that your external body is a product of your internal body. So why don't we focus on treating your internal body right? And just in case you forgot, what does nutrition even do in the first place? Well, for starters, it improves your well-being as a whole. Not only are you going to look so much better, you're going to feel so much better, you're going to act so much better. It maintains a strong immune system. This is so vital and important to make sure that you aren't getting sick constantly and you're not feeling like crap when you go to work. It delays the effects of aging, which is true. There's multiple studies done on this. It gives you a good source of energy. Waking up in the morning and just feeling energized is such a strong feeling because it already sets up the day for the right tone. reducing risk of chronic disease. Once again, this is not a secret to anyone. Your chances of heart disease or artery disease or whatever it may be, like drops dramatically. Increases your focus. Again, you want to be productive. So when I mentioned that your external body is a product of your internal, look through within, and you're going to find the answer that is just going to help you focus better. And like I mentioned before, it just positively affects your mood. You feel better, you act better. But I already know what everyone's thinking, and it's that I can't eat healthy food. It's too expensive, right? Well, so Harvard, a center at Harvard found that 2/3 of America is roughly overweight and even obese. And that number is only projected to go higher as time goes on. And I can't blame anyone. The US Department of Agriculture found that nearly $71 billion of healthcare money is spent through treating these types of diseases. And that number can literally be underestimated because 75% of healthcare, of the dollars of healthcare, isn't even spent on treating preventable diseases. So this doesn't include things like heart disease, stroke, cancer, and even diabetes. So you're thinking right now that it's healthier, it's cheaper to spend the money on the food because you look in the grocery market and that's what you find. But when time rolls around and your gut is all of a sudden this big and you're in the hospital and the medical bill comes out to be 10 grand, is it really cheaper? Just something to think about. And I can't blame you guys for thinking about this because when you look at the way that grocery markets and even billionaires like Bill Gates who are making up some artificial meat, I don't even know what that means. They put this shit out in front of you so that you can look at it. Like grocery markets are literally paid to throw this on the top shelf. So it's the first thing you look at and the branding takes over from there. And not only that, but like I just mentioned, billionaires like Bill Gates are literally creating artificial meat and trying to sell you this idea that is good for you. They're gonna do the same thing. Guys, if that's what they're trying to feed us right now, just imagine what they're gonna try to give our kids. Bill Gates is probably gonna like pay some scientists to alter a literal pile of like horse shit and throw it into like vegetables on the side of our kids' plates. That's something to think about. So if you want to avoid that, start by creating the good habit and that way you'll just eat healthy for the rest of life so you can snowball that effect. But what should you be eating? Well, fortunately we have Chef Mike and Chef Sadula here to break down.
I'm not really a chef, I just been in the kitchen a little bit.
I'm gonna call him that. They're gonna break down a couple of their meals right here because a lot of things on the screen you're probably thinking, what the hell is that? Let them go.
So do you go first?
Okay, so this right here, some eggs, some mushrooms, avocado, cheese. That one is also what I need. It's a kefir and Greek yogurt with granola, nuts, dried fruits, some fresh fruits too in there. Some more eggs, avocado, tomatoes. I try to get vegetables, fruits, carbs, fats in the morning, protein, everything in my meal. So.
Yeah, especially nowadays, like it's all about calories in, calories out, but it's not really about the numbers, it's about the quality of the food that you're eating. Like for example, right up here I have like 100% grass-fed ground beef with raw cheese, purple sweet potatoes, pickles. Right here I have eggs, organic eggs, coconut flakes, hemp seeds, all of that. Over here too, how many of you actually drink like water in the morning? Like in the morning, like you feel kind of sluggish getting out of bed. But the option to that is to put some salt in your water, chug it back, etc. This is a potion I'd make every single morning to keep me hydrated and to keep me like awake during the day. It's chlorophyll salt, lemon juice, and just strictly just water. But again, like I said, it's not about calories or it's not about the fats, and it's not about all that. It's about the quality of the food, where it comes from, how close is it to the ground. And a lot of that stuff is kind of expensive, so it is worth investing your time and your money to making the foods and getting those types of foods.
You want to tell them what chlorophyll does to your body?
Chlorophyll promotes healthy blood cells like white blood cells, red blood cells, and also detoxifies your body. So when's the last time we've all like done like a detox? We've had like one time where we didn't eat breakfast, or we didn't eat all day long, because humans like we're constantly eating. But when's the last time you actually like let your body rest and to like heal itself from all the food that you consume? I went on a rant here.
You're good. So if the government, right, came around and took everything, your family, your money, everything you ever had in your life, what would you have? Two things. Your education that you've learned from, and your skills. Only those two things. If everything else was taken away from you, you could still apply it to your day. So what should you invest in terms of education? So number one, mentors. And when I say mentors, you can look at it as someone, people like the technical definition of a mentor is someone above you that you want to learn from. But you can also think of it yourself as a mentor to someone else. There was an analogy used where you have someone on your level, someone above you, and someone below you. That way you can incorporate all three. But why is mentor so important? Well, we all are we all are stupid in our own ways. That's a nice way to put it. We don't know things that we should know. There's so much information out there. We hear 3 different things about the same story. What do we believe? So the idea of having a mentor is someone that's already been there, someone that has already achieved the goal that you want, and they can tell you the way of how they did it. And you don't have to incorporate exactly what they did, but apply the things that are similar to your interests. Then the second one, which is probably the most important one in my opinion, is communities. As human beings, we want to talk to people. A lot of a big misconception is we should be lone wolves. We have to do everything ourselves. Come on. Having a community allows you to, first of all, be in a place where you feel like you belong. Especially, I don't know if any of you guys are freshmen, you still haven't found those friends that you want to hang out with for the rest of your life, but this is some very important stuff. I mean, that's a big reason of what college is for, to come out here and find people that are similar like you and talk and learn new things about them and all that type of stuff. And then lastly, books. I took a picture of this, a lot of books I got. Mike has like, what, 100 books now?
Too many. I don't even read all of them.
Exactly. But the reason books are so vital is you basically get to go into a mastermind of a successful person. That's how I like to pick a piece of it. Rather than someone just talking whatever the thoughts come out of them, a book is someone reflecting on their thoughts multiple times throughout the day, thinking about what they want to write, putting it down on a piece of paper, and you have that knowledge for free. Obviously not for free, you have to pay for that book. But you read 200 pages and now you know 100 times more about the topic that you wanted to know before. And little thing, you reading a book, guys, I do recommend reading it. I'd much rather read 10 books, one book 10 times than 10 books one time. If you're gonna read a book, go through it, okay. And then when you get everything, there's no point to that. That's just a waste of time. That's really all it is. And then, Sagar, I'm gonna rebut you from, if in case any of you were here last class. So I asked him a question, which was, should you be investing yourself instead of the stock market? And I'm not here to argue against, but I'm here to do my philosophy, which is, my philosophy is shortcutting the compounding effect. So, this again, my philosophy, don't have to incorporate it, but at least listen to it. As we all know, we can put $6,000 into the Roth IRA every single year. Now you do that, and realistically, I don't know exactly the percentage of how much you're going to be making every year, but turns out it's not going to be a lot of money. That's the realistic scenario. So what I believe in, and this comes from a great mentor of mine, Alex Hormozy, in case any of you have heard of it, is in this time of your life, you shouldn't be investing everything into increasing your earnings capacity. And that is through your education and your skills. The more money that you're capable of earning, which is by the more knowledge you consume and the more skills you acquire, the more you can make. And the more you can make, the faster you can shortcut the compound effect. It takes 30 years before that 6% turns into, or you're making what, $50 every single year, and there's nothing wrong with that, $100 a year, whatever it is. Instead, it takes what, 30 years, and then you're starting making the thousands. Why not shortcut that? Focus exactly on increasing your earning capacity to the maximum point, and then put $200,000 into your account one time, and you do 6% on that, or let's say that 6,000, 10%, it's $60. You do 100,000, and you do 10%. Guess what? You made $10,000 in that year. That's my whole philosophy. Acquire it, don't acquire it. I think it's an excellent strategy, and it applies a lot of risk. It's a dangerous game, but as we've mentioned from the start, without no risk, there's no reward.
Last one, spirituality. I want to ask you guys a question. Who is spiritual here, or like practices some kind of spirituality, or know what it is?
What do you mean by spirituality?
Well, I'm going to explain now. Well, spirituality is a recognition of a feeling, sense, or even a belief that there's a higher self than you, something or someone, and then you look within yourself to find your deeper self, deeper meaning. Now, why you should be spiritual? I think being spiritual will help you connect to your higher self, like I said, and find out this, I would say, like hidden truth or like some kind of answer that you probably wouldn't even know existed. And like through meditation, prayers, journaling, yoga class even, I mean, if any of you is interested in it, spend more time in nature, like Mike said, touch a tree, look at a sun, like all that kind of stuff. Like spend more time to nature and what's natural. You can go to a church even. There's meditation apps, some communities that you can join where you talk about this stuff and share your thoughts and ideas with each other. Be more positive, spread love and help others more. And when you do that, it helps you to be a better person, gives you a sense of like loving someone and all that kind of stuff. So it's a good thing to go through, and I would definitely recommend to look into it if you haven't. You can always just do your own thing, but it's worth a try. Now, some of the questions that you can ask yourself. Now, these are the kind of questions that you would probably want to, maybe be with a friend and that, kind of share your thoughts with each other. Write it down if you have to. One of them is there an ultimate purpose to life? What is your purpose and why do you think that's your purpose? And what happens after death? And what are we living this life for? Now, like that last question, what happens after death? What I mean is some people think there's nothing and you just die. Then the next question comes, what is the purpose of you even being here then, if that's the case, So there might be an answer to having some kind of afterlife, heaven, because otherwise, why would you even be here? What's your purpose? So ask this kind of questions, look deep into it, and you will maybe find answers. What's that?
All right, so I do want to go with the finishing line, which is also another concept I learned from Hermosi, which is, what is the definition of learning? It's going through the same scenario and adapting to it. So what I mean is, before we just did this presentation, I had an apple, or let's say I had this marker. Every time I have this purple marker, I slap Sadula. All right? Now, I do this marker again, and I slap him again. The third time around, I show it to him, he ducks. It took him 3 times. I do that to Sash, and he does it on the second time. By that definition, he's smarter than Sadula. And why I brought this up is we just gave you an apple of ways to look at life in a different perspective. And you don't have to take it in that certain scenario. You don't have to absolutely agree with us to the utmost. At least consider it. We gave you this apple. Now, if I'm going to slap you again, and you guys come out of here or leave this place and do the exact same things that you were doing before you learned about this, and including the Tech and A presentation, you have learned nothing. You were basically wasting your time. That's another way to put it. So unless you take something out of either this presentation or the Tech and AI thing, it's a waste of time. Just think about it that way. And then feel free, scan the barcode if you like. You can subscribe to our podcast. Any final thoughts from you guys?
I mean, do you guys have any questions on what we just presented? Any concerns? Any feedback for us?
I was just building off what you're saying that about investing in yourself instead of investing in whatever, that's S&P 500, your IRA. I feel like there's so many opportunities that are included in our tuition to expand yourself that you can do both at the same time. I feel that it's very important that people our age invest as much as they can, especially in tax savings accounts like an IRA and all that sort of stuff, just because you're in my Finance 301 class, you know about the time value of money stuff, so I just wanted to point that out because I feel like, once again, there's so many opportunities on campus, and not even on campus, you could learn so much stuff completely for free, so I kind of feel like you can do both, in a way, so.
You know more about the topic than me. That's how I like to put it. So I absolutely agree. I think there's absolutely a way to do anything in 2 different aspects. My philosophy is just based on how much risk are you willing to take. Some people don't feel comfortable taking a lot of risk, and that's okay. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. You're just not that risk averse. And if that's a scenario, it's absolutely worth it to do that. And even in my situation, I should probably be putting a good portion of my money away, maybe 5%, maybe 10%. I'm just willing to take that risk at this moment, and if I fail, at least I'll be happy that I worked hard, and I come out of it, and let's say I don't make that much money, I still have that education, and I still have those skills that I can apply for the rest of my life in some certain scenario. That's my philosophy.
I agree with what you said about investing. I'm as you know, I'm someone who's really big into investing, but after watching your presentation and seeing what you said, I also genuinely agree with you as well about how important it is to pretty much prioritize yourself, your nutrition. I think I'll say, for an example, as a business owner, you need to always be on top of things. You always need to be alert and looking out for opportunities. for example, if I don't get like my 8 hours of sleep a night, I'm all over the place pretty much. And I realize how I am. If I'm talking to a client, for example, on 4 hours of sleep is completely different when I'm on 8 hours of sleep and 9 hours of sleep. So I would say being able to take care of yourself and taking care of your nutrition, it'll definitely have like dividends in the long run. So I just want to say I definitely agree with you, and I agree with you as well. That's what I'm saying.
Agree with us. Agree with us. Brad?
And yeah, just to tie this all up, since we're kind of running low on time here, I would say there's infinite value to networking, and meeting people and making connections. And obviously, you guys are in the right spot, trying to broaden your network and meet new people and come to meetings like this. But there's always more you can do, right? Like, as somebody that a freshman year in college, I didn't do much of that, and then I realized this is really valuable. This is something I should be doing, and then you get more involved that way. There's always more opportunities, as Nate was saying. There's always more opportunities. There's always more ways to get involved and do things and learn things. So I think what you guys said is spot on, and I just think you can never network enough. So take that for what it is, and hope you guys learned something today, because I certainly did. So.
Very well said.
Thank you
With
guys
that
for
being
being
said,
here.
yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, big.
Big grow up.
Go big.